Good afternoon, Mrs. Chairperson, members of the board, and Chief Executive Officer, Lucia Davenport. My name is Giovanni Fiodoa, and I'm here to present information on a proposed behavioral health and justice compliant task force for Los Angeles County. Across California, the number of reincarcerations has risen to become an epidemic. Even worse is the percentages of those individuals with a mental illness. For example, in 2024, California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation reported a 3-year recidivism rate of 39.1%. At the same time, the Council on Criminal Justice and Behavioral Health found that three-quarters of individuals released from prison in that same period had identifiable behavioral health needs. These numbers make it known that without proper coordination of mental health treatment, supervision, and criminal court oversight, society is failing to meet the needs and protection of its citizens. The Behavioral Health and Justice Compliance Task Force seeks to change that. The mission of the task force will be to reduce the recidivism of those with mental illness by providing intensive case management services, mental health linkage, and psychotropic medication compliance while being under the jurisdiction of the Superior Court, which allows for severe penalties for noncompliance. The Behavioral Health and Justice Compliance Task Force will be a joint venture between the Los Angeles County Probation Department, the Department of Mental Health, the Superior Court, and the Board of Supervisors. The task force will be led by a director who the Board of Supervisors will assign, and he or she will be accountable to the Board of Supervisors. The task force will be a multidisciplinary team with probation officers who will oversee the day-to-day caseload, mental health specialists and case managers who will coordinate linkage to mental health services, behavioral health clinicians who will be conducting assessment, and psychiatrists who will dictate medical necessity for treatment and provide court reports. The task force will implement Max Weber's bureaucratic theory, which clearly defines a chain of command, defined roles for all those employed, and positions are filled by the most qualified. In other words, a merit-based approach to ensure qualified professionals are meeting the client needs. Clients are those participating in treatment. However, the task force will not act as a machine with both the clients and staff, but instead will take a more humanistic approach towards meeting its goals. The task force will incorporate within its bureaucratic structure a human centered philosophy of collaboration, human relationships, and shared power. All of these are tenets Mary Parker Follett, an early 20th century management theorist. This will allow clients and employees complete control of the treatment plan that is best suited for the client. Thus, it empowers both the employee and the client since the outcomes they strive for were created collaboratively. This approach will allow staff and clients to collaborate to meet their end goals, avoiding reincarceration. But like most public agency and task force, certain metrics and goals must be met. The task force will have four main objectives. The first one is to reduce recidivism among justice involved individuals with behavioral health needs. The second, it will strengthen coordination across justice and health agencies. Third, a standard practice processes for referrals and linkage to treatment. And lastly, measurable outcomes will be reported to the board every quarter, thus ensuring transparency and accountability. These objectives follow the management by objectives framework, which links performance directly to our mission. This also allows for our progress to be tracked and evaluated. In closing, the Behavioral Health and Justice Compliance Task Force offers Los Angeles County the opportunity to truly live up to its calling of being stewards and keepers of its most vulnerable and often ignored citizens, while at the same time protecting the rest. With your approval, we can truly make a difference. Thank you, Mrs. Chairperson, members of the board, and Chief Executive Officer Davenport, for your time and consideration. I welcome your questions and feedback. Goodbye.